All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And as always, we're so happy and grateful to be here with each and every one of you as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in the Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage right out the gate this morning. Hey, if you can hear me loud and clear, do me a huge favor. Drop me a one in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me and that you are all set and ready to go. All right, I see the one coming in. That means my sound is good. So let's make sure that we start each and every day with a very strong foundation. We can never, ever forget this, everybody. That's why we go over it each and every day. We want to take massive action in the Forex trade room, making sure that we are accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing for any outcome. Let's make sure that we continue to center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, and that we trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. We want to always imagine that our trades are successfully materializing and that we are obeying our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear. And we want to make sure that we are never looking back or stopping once our trades have commenced. So, hope everybody has had a great week, that you're having a great morning so far. I'm glad to have all of you here uh, this morning and that you are alive and well. And so, let's jump right into it. Uh, just a side note, this morning's session may be shorter because I have a huge meeting early this morning that I need to get prepared for. So we may not be on for the full hour, but let's see how it goes. So just want to give everybody a heads up on that. So let's move over looking at trading economics. UK business morale lowest in over 2 years. Sentiment in the UK manufacturing sector dropped sharply to negative 47 in January, the steepest decline in over 2 years, according to the Confederation of British Industry. Manufacturing output decreased, new orders fell, especially for exports, which saw their fastest drop since 2020. Right. So the question is to go and delve deeper, look at some other articles just to find out, you know, why we're seeing new orders fall, especially for exports. Right. So that would be my question for that article. We know over the weekend, looking at the pounds, right, that it looks like some of them were selling off. So yeah, so not good news in regards to business sentiment with the UK in that report today. Japan exports hit record high, right? So we see here that exports from Japan rose by 2.8% year over year, a new peak, to a new peak of JPY 9,910 billion in December, exceeding market forecast of 2.3%, and pointing to the third straight month of growth, right? And so then it goes into what all expanded and where the gains were made, a further breakdown. So you make sure you read up on that. But that's good, right? For Japan and the exports. We know that we'll take a look at it here in a second that we've got possible interest rate hike coming up today. So what I want to do though is take a look at the DXY. Hold on one second, everybody. Sorry about that. So we can see that the dollar index stabilized around 108.2 on Thursday after facing pressure earlier in the week as investors waited for more clarity on President Donald Trump's policy plans. The index is down about 1% so far this week, following Trump's decision not to implement tariffs that had raised concerns about potential inflationary pressures. However, he has used tariff threats against China, Mexico, Canada, and the EU in recent statements. Investors are also focused on next week's Federal Reserve monetary policy meeting. Okay? The central bank is widely expected to keep interest rates unchanged in January, with markets betting on a rate cut in July and possibly another reduction later this year. Meanwhile, the Bank of Japan is expected to raise rates on Friday, and the European Central Bank may cut rates again next week. Right? So we've got some decisions, right? Some decisions coming up, right, that we need to pay close attention to. All right. So moving over to crude oil futures fell towards 75 a barrel on Thursday, retreating for the fifth consecutive session after an industry report revealed a renewed rise in U.S. crude inventories. Okay. API data showed a 1 million barrel increase in crude stocks last week, the first build after 5 weeks of decline. Right, so it tells you about something about demand. Right, it's all about the supply and demand. Traders also continue to assess potential impacts on energy markets from President Trump's proposed tariffs on China, the European Union, Canada, and Mexico, along with warnings of penalties for Russia if President Putin fails to work towards ending the Ukraine war. In other news, Saudi Arabia's crude oil exports hit an 8-month high in November, rising 4.7% to 6.2% barrels per day, 5.9 million barrels per day in October, while production edged down to 8.9 barrels per day, 9 million barrels per day. Elsewhere, several Texas ports began reopening Wednesday after Winter Storm Enzo disrupted shipping and energy operations earlier in the week. Right, so that's where we are. Oil, gold eased slightly to around 27.50 per ounce on Thursday, halting a 3-day gain as the U.S. dollar stabilized. Nevertheless, it remains near its highest level since early November and relatively close to the record peak of 27.90, supported by safe haven demand amid uncertainty. Right, third time over President Donald Trump's tariff plans and fears of potential trade wars, adding to goals to support the ECB policymakers back further rate cuts on Wednesday, signaling that next week's reduction is nearly certain, which would favor non-yielding gold. Take note on that now. All right, the relationship between right ECB monetary policy and gold. Right, take notes, take a screenshot, whatever. Right. Okay. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve is expected to keep its benchmark interest rate unchanged in its upcoming meeting, while a hawkish outlook as Trump's policies are viewed as inflationary. No change there, potentially prompting the Fed to keep rates elevated. Elsewhere, the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas was disregarded as Israel launched a drone attack in southern Lebanon's Hezbollah area, further lifting gold's safety appeal. All right, right. Important news, right? Important news is we're well into uh January now. Okay. Fundamentals are important. Cannot say it enough, right? Cannot say it enough. Um, okay. So let's get out of there. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing pretty good, man. What's on your mind this morning?
Not too much. Trying to get caught up on a few things, but not a ton at the moment. Looking for any last minute details on Bank of Japan and what how things are looking from that perspective for later on today. So I'll have some updates later.
Okay. Okay. I was looking at some reports this morning and they were saying, and that's of course still up into there. You never know what their forward guidance is with the Bank of Japan, but they was talking about how that dollar yen is still holding up, all things considered, and that's definitely looking at a rate hike, that you may not see too much reaction from
Hmm.
the actual rate hike itself, but you may see some sort of a reaction on the yen depending on what that forward guidance looked like. Then they were saying in regards to maybe there could be a surprise where they don't go 25 BPs, they just go 15. Um, but most of the articles I was reading is definitely calling for 25 uh, basis points. Also, I was skimming through this morning. What was it that? They were saying like a lot of one thing that can continue to weaken the yen is investor outflows. You know, um,
Hmm.
Japanese because that's what they do because of the yen. They do a lot of investing. So they're saying that. a lot of investor outflows can keep that downward pressure on the yen, right? Because if they're outflowing and they're investing in, say the United States and the assets in the United States, then you have to exchange that, right? So, which means you sell that off. You're selling off the yen. But
Yeah.
so just a couple things that I was reading this morning. Yep.
And that makes sense as far as the potential surprise over lower than 25 basis point and the attention on the forward guidance. That's kind of where I've shifted of a rate hike being there, but not a ton of reaction that's already priced in, and then looking
Hmm.
at what they're looking at for the future, and what that path potentially could be, seeing as UATA said last week that they don't want to surprise the market. So if there's going to be any forward guidance, in theory, he'll give that so that people know, and so that they won't have um, the volatility that that they saw last year when they
Yeah.
made those shifts. So that's what I'm looking for as well. So I appreciate you giving that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Appreciate you, my man. All right. So taking a look at let's look at the S&P. So we see stock futures were a little changed on Thursday after a strong rally in the previous session, with the S&P 500 hitting a new record high. Uh, in regular trading on Wednesday, the Dow and the S&P gained 0.3%, 0.61% respectively, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite surged 1.28%. These gains follow strong earnings reports and growing optimism around President Trump's policies, with investors expecting tax cuts and deregulation to drive economic growth and corporate profits. On the earnings front, Netflix soared 9.7% after reporting a record increase in new subscribers, which also led them to raise prices. While Procter& Gamble rose 1.9% on solid quarterly results, Oracle also jumped 6.8% following the announcement of a joint venture with SoftBank and OpenAI linked to a $500 billion AI investment initiative. Investors are now focusing on more earnings reports and initial jobless claims data on Thursday, right? So again, that tech sector, right, may rule the day again all year in 2025, right? As AI continues to have a huge uh, impact. I wonder, uh, and I have to go back on this, Ryan, and check with Netflix. I wonder, like with Netflix, so we see a boost in new subscribers for one reason why, and then is there any type of seasonality to that? That's our thoughts on Netflix. I still
The
haven't tagged it in a
seasonality,
thousand.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but they started doing live streaming of sporting events,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. That's true.
right?
You're
So
100% correct.
that Mike Tyson fight was live streamed, and then they did NFL games on, was it Christmas?
Yeah, yeah,
And they have
yeah.
Monday Night Raw.
Oh, get
Mm.
out of here. Oh wow.
It's a
Oh
huge
wow.
wrestling following. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. Oh man. So yeah. So at that $1,000 share target that we've got marked, I think that'll get there. But so yeah, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Ryan and Joy. I totally forgot that they did do that with live streaming. So maybe that's where that boost came from. So I guess now with the live streaming, do people stay or do they go? Like, what's the attrition rate gonna be on that? Being it. But I
Yeah,
guess with Monday Night Raw, that's continuous. So
yeah.
And also they are good at the password share, because I have to go through, like, say if I go to another device, I have to go through so much authentication to prove it's just me on
oh yeah,
another
yeah,
device.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. That's true.
The
That's true.
one concern that is out there is the stability of their servers, because some of the issues that I've experienced is
Timing out.
certain televisions, it it would freeze or buffer for 3, 5, 10 minutes at a time.
Oh wow.
Like for the Mike Tyson fight
Yep.
and for the football game. Um, but on the mobile device, phone, tablet, it worked fine. So it's
Yeah.
only for television devices where there's a buffering of some sort, and no one's been able to get any answers on why that is.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's true. It does. It did though, because I experienced it for sure. So hopefully, they make those improvements. But it's rocking and rolling at Netflix. So, take it over, man. Taking a look at the quant box, right? Still gold, right? Long 90.4%, right? On the gold. So that's still you got your institutional position still long on gold. U.S. oil, right? Still long 77.31%. And the Nikkei, right? Is up, right? Jeremy's thing. So still long there. Silver, right? We talked about that. We've looked at that. The US dollar, platinum, the NASDAQ, copper, so your metals. So we can see where they are as far as institutional positioning goals, right? When we look on that back end, the yen is down. The pound is kind of still hovering, right? So just a tiny smidgen over 50%. Um, the yen, majority shorts, the euro, that US 10, Aussie still down, New Zealand, Swissy, and the CAD, which we see technically playing out on our chart. So yeah, we'll see how that continues to play out there. Looking at this DXY from the daily, we can see right that it nice correction that we had a few days ago. But now we're starting to see where we could be bottoming out. Hold on, my bad. I need to go back to that anyway. My fault, Joy. Looking at the Forex factor. So today we do have retail sales for Canada month over month. Thanks, Joy. Um, Month over month core and overall retail sales, and then we got U.S. unemployment claims. We go back to Wednesday. Wasn't a ton. But we do have natural gas stores today at 10:30. We've got Trump speaking today, right? We know that could move the market. Um, Crude oil inventories as well at 11 a.m. And then we know later uh, tonight. It's always tentative, never any type of exact time. We've got the BOJ monetary policy rate and statement, right? So more concerned about that statement because that's where we're gonna get that for guys. And then that press conference, that's going to be in the wee hours of the morning. So we'll see what happens with that. Should be quite interesting. And then we've got Euro PMI data out of the Eurozone coming tomorrow. We also have Lagarde speaking tomorrow as well. So Joy, we had some data yesterday that came in that missed. What is that? The change in price of goods sold by manufacturers. So their IPPI came through, right? For Canada. So that was some news that missed. So that was supposed to be 0.5%. It came in at 0.2. But that came in over at 1.3. So the change in the price of raw materials came in a little high at 1.3% yesterday. Then the core retail is your major stuff this morning for Canada. Yep, yep, yep. So I was reading you're about to shut our power off in Michigan. Who's about to shut the power off in Michigan?
The
Um,
whoever, what the prime minister, what they got, president, prime minister, he
oh,
he is ready to hit the switch like now.
on
Because
his way out on his way out the door, I guess, eh?
yes, because of the He said if he go through it, whenever Trump about to do what he about to do, soon as he do it, he said he cutting our power off right then and there. And said Michigan is going to be first and then New York. He literally, but I was trying to find something like on Bloomberg to like back that up. Um, I don't want to be in the cold. My fireplace don't work.
You better figure it out. 'Cause, Trump, they better get it together because that happens. People have their pitchforks ready. So, man, I'm gonna have to find some articles on that and see what's going on. All types of bluster going back. Egos, man, egos. So that's that's where we are there. Looking at the spider, right? Tech 2.26% yesterday, right? Was the big gainer in regards to the S&P, Nvidia, Apple, also Microsoft. And uh so hopefully, Ryan, they haven't given any more updates on it. They just keep saying sorry for the delay, right? On these stock charts.
Yeah, man, no updates as of yet.
Yeah.
I'll send another message as a reply to see if they have a time frame on it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Appreciate it. All right. So here we are, US dollar, right? Looking at it, starting to bottom out. Daily stochastics in the buy zone. Do we form a swing low here and start to move higher on the daily? That's the question, right? Do we start to see that dollar continue to pump? And so we know we have Fed meetings coming up. So we will see there. And then today again for the US, uh, we do have unemployment claims coming. So we can see some volatility with the dollar uh this morning at 8:30. And so that's the DXY. Again, for those of you who have joined us late, I may not be able to go for the full hour this morning because I have meetings that I have to prepare for. So just wanted to say that again. So one of the setups that I am looking at that I posted in the group is I am looking at this daily chart for the US dollar and see if we've got this. I did put in a small position um, for the Euro USD, even though we haven't gotten this swing higher form yet on the daily. It is at this daily resistance level, right? Past supports becoming future resistance. That's a monthly level. So I am seeing if that is going to reconfirm at this level on this Euro USD and then start to hit lower. So we saw the DXY is in the opposite position, right? It is bottoming out on the daily on the dollar, and we know that is just a mirror image, right? So just a flip flops, right? The Euro USD versus the DXY because why? That DXY is heavily weighted with the euro. So if we start to see that dollar strengthen off the lows, we could see this move down. I am still looking for um, that dollar, the euro dollar, to hit parity at $1 even, and then we've got a D extension just below that at 98.97. So if we do make it through down to this area during the year, uh, we'll see what happens if we do get to parity, if there's any reaction, or if we continue through to that the extension. So that's the idea. Now, hey, I'll risk 180 pips for a bigger move to the downside. Right? That's the game. Right. So especially in the monetary policy front, we just read fundamentally, we're looking at further ECB rate cuts while the Fed is looking to most likely hold rates in January. Uh, so we'll continue to monitor and see how this Euro USD goes, right? But this is more of a long-term play, long-term fundamental play. Things could always change. That's why I tend to drip positions in and don't take full positions right away. Because if it's going to go 540 pips, trust me, there'll be plenty of pullbacks along the way, right? So that's what I'm thinking right now on the Euro USD. Any questions there? Right. So we put that
Hi,
in.
buddy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a quick one. When you say you don't take in a full position, I'm assuming your basic risk is 1% of your account, and you take in like a small position. Do you take in the full 1% or just half of that or quarter of that?
So in this position, I've taken half of it, like half of the position, because if it does push up higher, right, I can load that other half in at that 786 level. Make sense?
Thank you. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great question. Yeah, so if it continues to run higher, right, then I can add that other position in here, right? And so even if you said overall, which I mean, even if you went because long term play wide stop and you went 2%, right? Then you would have 1% in here, the 61.8, the other 1% in there, right? So this one I'm in at have that position. If it does continue to move lower, right? So if we continue to, to move lower and I'm in at this half position, then at some point in the game when we pull back, then I would have the opportunity to add that uh the other half of that position in later, right? And so you could use your lower time frame for that, like the 4 hour, whatever chart you trade off of to look for to add that position uh later. So really good question there. So that's where I'm in with it, right? Just long term, not looking for colossal gains, just small gains over time, right? And so that's what I'm thinking for that trade idea there. And like I said, that's just a long term fundamental play, and we'll see. But as long as it doesn't take out that A, right, we've got a shot on this position. My stochastic is in the sell zone there. If we move down and creep down to our 4 hour, we can get a better picture of where on the four. See how it's holding up at that 104 range there. It's holding up again, right? It struggled in this area, right? Right at the edge of that sell zone. It struggled a bit. And so we'll see. Um, we'll see if that continues to hold because you see how price pushed all the way back up, right, to kind of retest this zone again, and now it's turning over. So we'll see if it maintains itself. But long term, I am bearish on this euro, so I'll take my chances with that against the dollar, right, versus all other pairs, right. So that's the euro USD. This dollar Swissy set up here, and we broken trend line. So here we are at this 50% zone here. On this 4 hour, I was wanting to see if that if that was gonna make one more move down. It may eventually. We'll see what happens. I'll put a cloud move um here. Let's see, here we are on this cloud, right? So we'll see if that continues long off the 50% level. I was hoping to see it move back down right into this zone here, but we'll see if that dollar settles in and forms that low on the DXY, and that may continue to push long. But I do have a case for a long play on the dollar Swiss there. So here we are. We've got an inner trend line break on the one there. So that doesn't look too bad. I'm definitely not bullish on the Swiss franc at all. So depending on what chart you're trading, I am definitely uh long fundamentally and technically on this dollar Swiss trade. All right. So that is one that you want to keep an eye on there, as that did break the inner trend line. I wonder if that's going to maintain this momentum to move higher. Okay. So that's that on the dollar Swiss. Any questions on that? No. All right. This was a beautiful, pretty much double bottom off the lows, right? You can see the W pattern that formed there. We've been moving up every since. Nice clean move on the dollar Swissy. Want to check in on this dollar CAD, right? Still headed towards that 145 again, right? We looked at the dollar to start the morning, and it looks like it wants to settle down and maybe start to push longer. We just missed that D extension off that last push, and so you can see that the fib is still activated, but we are still long uh dollar Swiss. I mean dollar CAD. Um, Here we are on 4, right? So we can see that that's been ranging, but it's starting to push out of the zone, right? So it's looking like, right now that we're definitely uh, looking to get back bullish. That didn't give us a good correction on the one, a little correction. But for the most part, we're still headed towards that 145.21 extension level on the daily, right? So things take time, but they eventually get there. Okay. So here we are on the dollar again, still thinking 160, still thinking 160. We'll see what type of reaction that we get uh from that yen again tonight. We've got rate statement and interest rate decision coming out from the Bank of Japan. You can see here our daily stochastic is in the buy zone. Um, you can see here with that dollar right at the edge of the buy zone on the 4. Let's put our cloud on and see where we are with our averages. So we haven't had a breakout on the 4 yet, right? But we are above the 50. We're ranging above the 200. So if we get that cloud break, right, that may be a go to 160 there. We take a look at the 1 hour. You can see how we hit the edge of that buy zone and we're moving higher, right? Okay. So if you're looking strictly from a fundamental perspective, dollar yen, you're like, I'm long. I'm long on that. Right? I'm long on that. Fundamentally, I don't have a reason that I shouldn't be yet. So we're long, looking to try to get to 160 eventually. So based on where that's at, right, 340 pips away. Okay. Any questions on the dollar yen?
Oh,
No, sir.
All right. Joey is in at 155. All right. So let's see. So you're up already. That is good. All right. Drop some sevens in the chat for Joy. Nice work. Really nice work. All right. Small positions. Let the pits accumulate. Okay. I have to break the bank. Right. Checking in on our commodities. Okay. Checking in on these commodities. This is a 1 hour play on oil that we were looking at. Beautiful, beautiful 80/20. Right? Completely made that U-turn. You all remember not too long ago we were wondering if that was gonna happen. Right? We completely made that U-turn then. Completely made that U-turn and moving and looking to move higher. Isn't that amazing? Right? So now here we sit. Right? Do we continue to move higher from here? We shall see. Right? We shall see on oil. So that's the 1 hour look on that. But ever since we had pinned this consolidation area, we've definitely seen price make the shift to the upside, and we got the correction. And now we want to see if we can get back long, right? So we put the cloud on that. Just a 1 hour chart. So a reminder, if we see price move, break back above that cloud. Hey, maybe it looks to move longer, at least in the short term. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye. We'll see what inventories look like today, right? And then when I see crude oil inventories today coming out, so that may create a reaction. Let's see what happens. Do we stay below the cloud or do we start to break out above it? All right. So there's oil. Looking at gold 1 hour chart, man, we didn't get that full A20 correction there. That just continued long, right? Just continued to move to the upside. If we come out here and take a look at it from the daily, right? We drew that trend line right off this markup. It has just continued. It has just continued to move bullish, right? It's pushed higher. Continue to push long. We see here, right? Long positions are still being held on gold. We're not getting deep corrections. We read the fundamentals on it as to why this is occurring earlier during the session. And so we can see here that this is starting to push higher. So at 2793 level, right? Let's see what happens. If we get back to that level, do we get another reaction to the downside, or do we break through and continue long on gold? Right. So we are continuing, right? We didn't get a bounce off that trend line, but we did stay above it on gold. So that's looking pretty bullish. This is silver on the 15. We were looking at some plays on there. That's since bounced around and got range bound. So let's back silver out. Um, go back to our 4, and we can see where we're getting a correction now, right? So this zone here is having an issue breaking through. This high, what is that? 39.58. So we'll go 30.958. We'll save that there. So it's having a problem struggling there, but back on our 4. Yeah, it's been an issue. But back on our 4-hour, we are still trending, right? In a bullish direction on silver, that 31.29 target. I think we get there. I think we get there, right? But we're gonna need to settle down, and we're gonna have to break through that 39.58 level on silver. Okay, so still looking bullish. Nat gas, right? Got another push as of late. Um, here, I don't know what happened. What are we doing here? There we go. Right. So we got a deep A6 retracement on that. So our 1 hour target at 40, $4.36 level, 436. Off this latest fib. If you're trading off the 4.3650. There. Okay. So still looking bullish above the 50, above your 200. If we break out above the cloud, so still looking long on that gas. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. All right. So that's where we are on the 1 hour. We got some higher time frame targets there. $4.96. Yeah. So that's where we are on natural gas. Any questions on that? Fundamentals look strong behind natural gas too.
Benny, I was just gonna say it's a possible entry on gold on the 5 minute.
On the 5?
Yep.
All right. Let's go back, take a look at it. All right. Let's pull it all the way down. Talking off this leg here.
Yes, sir. Price is coming in at the 618.
She running off the low, off that low.
Yeah. No, I just ran it off that last leg
Oh, off that
because it's
last
right.
leg.
Yeah, because it's right on the cloud.
Gotcha. So there. All right. So we'll see what happens there for short-term 5-minute play. All right. See if that holds up. See if that holds up. All right, for our day traders, appreciate your joy on that. So there we are, right? It's moving pretty aggressively to the downside,
Throw the cloud
but
on.
we'll see if we'll see if that holds up. Yep. Let's see. That's a reaction. What's going on? What just what time is it? 7 o'clock. Yeah, that's a 5 minute candle, but it's making a decent move. Let's see if it holds right there. All right, appreciate it, Joy. All right, and so that's where we are in that regard. So Ryan, were our indices? I can't remember from this. Are the indices accurate or no? Indices are
No, the only one that was I think it was just the Nasdaq that was up to date. The others were also off with stale data going back to like the 17th. We can double check them to see, but the Nasdaq was accurate. The others were old.
okay. So that's the 23rd. Second. Okay. Um, that's the 22nd on that one. So we got the Nikkei moving up on that one. So that one's we're still trying to get to those higher time frame targets there. So that's continuing to move along. Let me see what we look like on the S&P. That was the 22nd. Okay. So this is continuing to move higher, right? So do we take out this high here, right? So we had it drawn up. Hey, do we get a correction, a daily? Doesn't look like it right now, right? So we'll see, right? If we break that high, that's the test, right? That's the test. Because if not, then we could be possibly looking at some sort of a range, right? I'm interested to see with the dollar sitting at the lows, if we start to get a dollar push, does that impact, right? Sometimes we see that, right? Where that dollar strengthens and we see things like the S&P, right? Take a move to the downside. Let me pull this out of here for now until we actually get it. Um, do we push through this level? Right? Major highs. Major highs there. Okay. So let's see. Stochastic is way overbought. Okay, we're at 97%. We're at 97% there. So that's that's gonna be quite interesting. Let's see, we got Fed meetings coming up and everything. All right, so that's where we are on the S&P. Moving down to this was the GR30 that we were looking at there. Man, that one corrected and just continued long. Like that one's making a really good run to the upside. Let me go back out to the daily on this. Just cleaned up there. Man, that's continuing to run. Okay. Bullish. We're probably gonna head to that extension in 21,901. Not sure if anybody's long on that, but man, that's been a good move ever since it started to break out. So bullish. That's looking really good. This was a 5 minute play we were looking at here, right? I'm looking at potential for 80-20. We didn't get it. It just continued to run on the 5, and then we got that trend line break, right? So we did move down out of this 80-20. So at that one failed. This one actually made a good move down to that 382, and it's even looking like it wants to U-turn. So this was that last one there. So we did get that trend line break. That's a beautiful move, right? So that's a good pickup to that 382. I don't know if that's going to retrace lower on this UK 100 move, and that was a 5 minute play there on the UK 100, but that was nice. That was a nice play there. Let me see. Um, so I guess are we still having what day was this? Yeah, that's still stuck. So this XLF trade, um, let me go. That's your 4. So your daily, so that's still moving higher, right? It still continue to move higher there. So I'm still staying bullish on the financial sector. We saw it earlier. Trump policies, deregulation, right? Could be a benefit to the bank. Um, so just like we had predicted, right? Which is why here we had that trend line drawn, is continue to run bullish, right? And so we want to stay bullish on the financial sector. At least for this first part of 2025 is what I'm thinking. We'll see how things shape up, right? And so looking long right now on the XLF financial sector ETF, Spider ETF there. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and upgrade my trading view until they get this fixed, because we might have to take a look at that. Just can't be right. Um, Tech sector, XLK. Take a look to see how that's moving. Right, we're about to push through this high here on the daily. Right, so we come off that low there. Right, what is that? 249. See, they still hold my custom fib. I stopped paying them. That's good. So, 250. All right, get 250. 250 there. Um, something like that. Right there around 250. Looks like we're definitely going there. We got daily support, right? We got this area that we need to break through here. If we break through that level, then we're looking long. All right.
My feed
So
messed up on Trading View too, and I was trying to reset them like Smart Trader,
it
I
did.
but I can't get
There you
the
go.
80/20 area. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. hmm hmm Yep. There you go. They do have a they got the fit retracement like that. That's how they run it. There, see, it's just they pull it differently. So I just make sure that I put my manual fit on trading view. All right, so that's what we're looking like there off that low. All right. So hey, I was able to make it for most of the session. Donette, you said the SPS looks updated. Yeah, I think I think so too. So they're starting That's starting to come through. 8 and 4 hour reached extensions, 1 hour 80-20. So let's go back on that before we log off. See, let me go back to indices. Take a look at the S&P. Yep. Take this off. All right. Drop some sevens in the chat. All right. For .net on that call, we got an 80-20 there. All right. It's good work. Right. We hit that 118 zone. Hey, we stay below that what's that 6,086 level. Right. If we can't get back above those levels, right, then we could head down to that 382 on the 1 hour. So things starting to shape up. You know, we've got, when we look at some of these pairs, we've got the DXY, right? If we find a low there and we continue to move and push up, right, then we could see uh some of these moves back to the downside, right? On some of these indices and these corrections, right? That may be coming due. Okay. So that's that. Ryan, anything before we wrap things up today?
No, sir. Great session, bro. Appreciate you, man.
And I appreciate it. Hey, everybody, have a great day. If you find anything, any ideas, any news, don't forget, put it in the community. It helps all of us, right? And so, with that being said, always remember, don't just count your pips, but indeed count your blessings. Everybody, have a great day.
Thank you.